I'm actually driving the X5 today. It's not out of the woods, but I got something else to work on. I did drive it a little bit yesterday, and guess what? I don't see any leaks. I'm only driving a few miles, but look, hitting traffic. This drive usually only takes about, I don't know, maybe 10 to 12 minutes, maybe 15. So I am going to the storage unit to work on a CRX. I'm gonna have to flash back to around November. It popped up on Facebook, and it was kind of a spur of the moment purchase. And in my crazy mind, I thought I could fix it and sell it for a little bit of profit. We'll see how that goes. If you're new to the channel, my name is Mac, and I just like working on cars. And this is where I document most of what I do. I hope you enjoy. Me and my 89 K1500 are going to pick up another car today. And as usual, it needs work, but it's gonna be fun. I've always wanted one of these. I don't know how long I'll keep it, but yeah, I cannot wait to start working on it. Here's the engine bay of this beauty, but first I gotta replace the battery. Well, this is all chewed up, so I'm just gonna jump it with the new battery. Hope that works. So here we have a 1989 pulling a 1988. It's pretty, isn't it? The 80s, baby, rad wood. Well, we made it. Now I just gotta get it off the trailer and into the storage unit. I got it in its new home, but it smokes a ton. That little bit of me pulling it from the trailer to here made all of that smoke. But here it is, my 1988 CRX Si. Or as I call it, the CRX Si. But yeah, this thing is in pretty good nick, man. I am very excited to start working on it. And the old girl performed flawlessly, but she needs work. And I think the extra pressure on the brakes is what made it come out. So a week after picking it up, I finally got to put my hands on it. The first day, I just wanted to drain the fluids and get a lay of the land, see what I was working with. And at first glance, it looked pretty good. The only modification I saw was the intake and a bit of wiring. The first thing I did was take out the battery. Anybody who's worked on old Hondas knows that this battery is way too big. The battery was jammed in so tight that I had to take the intake off to get a good grip on it. I had my suspicions as to why the car smoked so much. So it was time to get to work. I marked the distributor location, then I took out the spark plug wires in preparation for removing the distributor and the wires all at once. The distributor is just 3 bolts and 2 connectors. Once they're all removed, you can pull out the distributor. And next up was removing the valve cover. The first goal is to get it running reliably. No smoke, no codes, you get the idea. All right, let's see what we're working with. So I've looked at several high mileage Honda engines, and this does not look like one that stayed on top of its oil changes. Now, this one came out way before synthetic oil took over, but yeah, we'll see if I can improve upon this. I decided to remove the head to replace the head gasket and the valve stem seals. And to do that, I decided to leave the intake manifold attached. So that meant my next job was just to disconnect everything attached to the head. So on my first day of working on the car, I disconnected everything that I could access from the top. I had to come back with the proper jack and jack stands to get at the things I would have to disconnect from underneath. So I finally got the regular car jack stands, and now I can drain the coolant. And there are quite a few oil leaks, but we'll address those when we get everything running, unless they're obvious. Like a lot of old cars, the undercarriage has seen better days. And my golly, is there a lot of oil leaking. But I'm gonna have to take this off, and then we'll see about draining that fluid. And there's the drain plug, but check it out, and it is not even on tight. Look, I'm able to move it with my fingers. But yeah, it's messed up, and more of it is coming off as I twist it out. All right, I'm gonna go open the top. It looks kind of milky. I don't know, maybe a little milky. And this is what's left of the plug. I'm glad it's an O-ring seal, but The new radiator was not in the plans, at least for now anyway. I then moved on to coolant hoses. Next, I'm going to take off the heater hose and the lower radiator hose, which connects here where the thermostat is. I'm going to disconnect this hose as well. And even though I don't always plan for this, I should. These hoses were stuck on. They were being very stubborn. There we go, finally. So I'm doing this because I'm taking off the radiator. And that was easier to get to, difficult to get off, easier to get to than the lower radiator. All right, I got to leave for work in a little bit. I'm gonna see about getting the radiator out so that I can get to the header. All right, now I gotta disconnect all fans. There's some green connectors down here that I believe are to the radiator fans. This will be the last thing I do before I head off to work. Get it out. It will be a milestone. Well, I freed this somehow. I think that lets me. That's it. All right, I am back from work and my goal now is just to get the head off. That means taking off the heat shield, disconnecting the exhaust manifold, unbolting the head and lifting it off and see what's going on. Every other time I've taken the head off, I've replaced the timing belt, but the timing belt looks good. I may replace it soon, but my main task today and my main goal is to get it not smoking. And I have never done this, but I've seen people just mark. So I'm gonna see if it works. So now I have the timing belt and the cam gear marked so I can slide the belt back on at the right spot. Thank God it comes off easily. See how easy it is to take off these header nuts. Ah, nice. That one's broken, so this will be fun. And this one is broken too. So I'm under the car and this is where the header connects just below the oil pan. That gives me enough freedom. Let's go back up top. All right, let's see. Does this give me enough to just pull it away from the head? All right, I freed up the little bracket on the bottom. I'm just gonna take it all the way off. So that should let me freely move the head around, but it doesn't. Come on, I'm right here. Why don't you let me off? You should be off. Ah, there you go. This is not what you want your exhaust ports to look like. But now I think we can remove the head. But there is one more hose I need to remove over here. I forgot to do this morning. Head bolts, I'm going to crack them all, starting from the outside, working my way in, and then I'm gonna zip them off. All right, let's see if I will have a successful lift. Getting a wrench under here, looks like it'll do the trick. Silly me, the intake manifold is bolted to the block. I forgot about that. You see those two bolts right there? They're attached to the block. B series and D series all have something like this. I forgot all about it, so I gotta get to those. I'm gonna see if I can do these with one hand and a bunch of extensions. Looks like success. All right, does this give me free? Ooh, I gotta watch out for this clutch cable. I think I can leave it connected. I just have to come under it. We should be rocking and rolling now. One of the things that is an obvious one, the fuel line. Obvious and easy, that's why I forgot. Now we are free. And head gasket has left the chat. This was the old composite style head gasket, obviously, and it doesn't look like it was doing its job anymore. So, that's probably my wife. Hey babe. Working on the CRX, but I'm just finished. I just got the head off, so I'm done for today. All right, love you. Yes, so look, that's terrible. The cylinders should not be all wet like that. So yeah, definitely coolant was getting into the oil, so I'm gonna have to figure out what I'm gonna do because that definitely would have compromised the properties of the oil. So I may be doing more work than I planned, but head gasket was the plan. We'll see how it goes. And with that, I called it quits for the day. It was time for me to go home, eat, and go to bed. In the next video, I'll look into cleaning the block in the head and I'll look into replacing the valve stem seals. If you would like to follow along, hit subscribe. Thanks for watching. Take care.